I want to show you what removing the stippling looks like in the 3/4 of the way mark from removing stippling from your ceiling. What I did not see on the internet. This is what our house looks like. So we are actually living here while this is being done. As you can see, it is a huge mess. The contractors covered up everything in the kitchen, washer and dryer and everything. And then the furniture, we moved everything before they got here that we could into the sunroom. As you can see, that's a big just room of all of our junk in there. Just everything's in there that can be in there. So we did as much of that as we could before they got here. And then what they did is they covered up all the furniture and taped it and everything. And then they scraped the ceiling, and then they come in there and they putty, and then they sand. And this is actually, it's already been cleaned up once. This is the second go of the floor. So yeah, the floor looks like this. It looks like this before it gets cleaned up. So all the stuff that was scraped off the ceiling is everywhere after the initial scraping. So in the other room, all the initial stuff has actually been swept up at least once. And we put towels under the doors. Like, this is a closet, and we didn't want everything in there getting dusty. That is sheetrock mud, so it should wash out. But I just would say, if you can do this before you move into the home, do it. If you're doing it yourself, I would say do it, obviously, one room at a time. We hired someone because we just felt like it was too big of a job. I felt like it was too big of a job for me. We actually hired a 3-man crew, and they're working here at least 8 hours a day, at least, to do this. So this is what it looks like after it's been scraped and mudded. One coat of mud, I think, and sanded. It's been mudded and sanded at least once, if not twice. And then they put one layer of paint on it, a flat white. Now they're painting down over the walls because they're going to be painting the walls. And that little trick gives you a real nice clean line if you paint down just a little bit. Like that. And then they'll have to come in with 2 coats. And the laundry room has 2 coats on it. I think there's a spot on there that needs a touch up, but you can get an idea of how good that looks. Now we fired the first contractor. He didn't scrape it down to the sheet, the paper. These guys scraped it down to the paper as best they could, and it is just really, really flat. Looks really good. It looks like a wall. Now they had to put some mud on the side, and they've sanded that out, and I can see that. I don't think your average person is going to see that with the naked eye. Now the kitchen ceiling, we actually had a portion of it replaced, and they've been working on it for over a week, trying to get it leveled out, because apparently the 2 sheetrocks, even though they measured out the same, the older stuff was just not 100% even. There was a spot right there where there was a big dip before they got here, and they've been trying to level that out. They've got corner mold right there on that. It's just a really very labor intensive job. These guys leave every day covered from head to toe in sheetrock dust, and it's just something that I would say definitely, if you can afford it. We're doing this hopefully with our income tax return. We're going to put on the credit card first and then pay it off with the income tax return. And I would say if you can afford it, hire somebody out to do it if you're trying to get rid of this in your home. And obviously if you can stay in a hotel or do it before you move in. That would be best because we are eating out of a cooler, and this is our living space. The one bathroom that's already been done, and I'll show you my husband in a minute. So we've got this one bathroom that's already been done, and we're staying in this bedroom, and like this is where we have to sit, this is where we have to eat, this is where we have to sleep. And so there's our cooler. The bedroom is a gigantic mess. I've got to wash that cutting board. And this is all of our clothing is over there on the other side of the bed because the closet's empty. So the pillows are on top of the clothing, and there's a sheet over them to keep the dust off of them. But just if you do, it's just a mess, isn't it? If you do this while you're living in your home, you just need to mentally prepare to suffer for a while. Just like mentally prepare. If you have the money in your budget, I would strongly suggest you go out to eat, maybe just to get out of the home every night. And if you have the money in your budget, I would suggest a hotel. And obviously, I think it would be best to just hire someone to do it before you move in, because then they're not having to cover furniture and move furniture around in the room. Like, they really had to move the furniture around in this room a lot to get to the different parts of the ceiling. So they, they kind of had to move things over this way and that way and move it around to get to the different parts of the ceiling. But if there were no furniture, they would only have to cover like the light fixtures, the floors, which they have paper on all the floors, and then here they have looks like paper and plastic wrap. This is our bedroom, so thank you guys. And then your cabinets, that would be it. So it would be a lot easier to do if the home were vacant. So anyway, in my searches for removing stippling on YouTube, I didn't see anything that showed this stage. So I wanted to help all you homeowners out who may be thinking about it so that you can know what you're getting into. I will say this, hopefully, God willing, they'll finish this within a 2-week period. And I think it's going to be worth it when it's all done, because it's just taking years off of our home. Years. And I just think it's going to look so much better, bring up the value, bring up how we feel when we're in the home, and just look a lot better. So here you go. I hope that helps somebody. Bye.